Now, we're in June and Budget 2017 is just being signed into law. The records show that this is the longest Nigerians have ever had to wait for a budget to be signed into law. So what's the strategy to catch up? Joining me tonight on the news at 10 is a professor of economics and the Director General of the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management, Professor Akpan Ikpo. Thanks so much for joining us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah.
So halfway into the year, some say on an expired 2016 budget, today, that it's all sorted out now. How do you think we can put things into perspective now in terms of catching up?
Well, I think there's no question that the delay has adverse implications on the economy, but they have to hit the ground running. And the only hope is that since there's an economic growth and recovery plan, that at some point the delay may be subsumed as we move forward. Otherwise, the delay is not just a trivial issue. It's a serious matter, and I hope going forward we'll avoid such delays. Six months delay has very adverse effect on the economy in terms of attracting investors, both domestic and foreign investors, in terms of creating uncertainty among economic agents. So it's always good to reduce that delay, what economists call structural lag. In Nigeria, it's been a problem over the years, so I think we need to reduce it. So it's a landmark, but the delay could create problems. So they have to hit the ground running and ensure that in implementation, there are no bottlenecks. So that's another issue.
We'll get to implementation in a minute, but of course there's a lot of expectation on this particular budget. You heard the acting president himself say that it's one that's going to bring the people out of recession, the economy that is. How do you expect that to happen, and what steps?
Well, you see, we've been almost a year now and a quarter of this year in recession. When you're in recession, you need the visible hand of government through spending to take out of a recession.
Are you seeing that?
So I'm saying that with this delay now, they have to hit the ground running. But my own research has shown that except we implement 80% of the fiscal components of this year's budget, will not exit the recession. And let's not forget that if you exit the recession, it's a technical issue. The other major challenges still remain in the economy. So the main thing is to continue the reforms and to change the structure of the economy as you go forward. Recessions come and go. Once you run a market economy, you're going to have recessions, But did you have managed the economy properly, put in good policies to minimize the adverse effect of recessions? But they come and go. So it's good to exit it, but in my view, we must at least implement 80% or the fiscal components of the budget.
With the time that you see that we have left, is that something you think is achievable? Because implementation has always been the problem.
It's a big problem. That's why I'm saying that I suspect that they are going to again extend the length of this year's budget. Don't forget that with the plan that we have now, this budget should have been derived from the plan document. As I was saying, that going forward, it may be subsumed. So we don't have much time. So I think that it may take us up to the third or fourth quarter to be to see us getting out of the recession. All
right, just quickly now, what's your outlook or your forecast for the markets? It is looking a little bit better? Well,
the market looks a little better, but the market's like you're running a casino system. It goes up, it comes down. And so when you're in a recession, you don't really take interest in the market. It's important, but that's not the big issue. Because if you have a lot of portfolio investment, they could get out if you have some other challenges in the economy. So it's looking okay now, but we shouldn't count much on that. We should count on government for now, taking us out of the recession. Government through spending on capital projects, and even at times on recurrent. Because if you owe workers salaries, you don't pay them, they don't have enough money to demand goods and services, companies will not produce those goods and services. So you may be in a recession. So you need both capital and recurrent expenditures to exit the recession.
All right, Professor of Economics Akpan Ikpo, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you.